Long ago, in a quiet African village where trees whispered secrets and birds sang all day, there lived a young girl named Amma. She was kind, quiet, and full of questions. People in the village liked her because she helped everyone and never said a bad word to anyone. But Amma was different from the other girls. She didn't like loud games or dancing by the fire. She loved the river. Every morning, while the sun was still waking up, Amma would walk down to the river alone. She carried a clay pot on her head, but sometimes she didn't even collect water. She just sat by the edge, listening to the water move and sing. She said the river spoke, but in a soft voice that only few could hear. The elders used to warn the children, "Do not go near the river at night. Spirits live there. Some are kind. Some are not." But Amma was not afraid. She believed the river was her friend. One day, after a heavy rain, the river was louder than usual. It rushed quickly, pulling small branches and leaves along its back. The ground was soft, and the sky still looked dark, even though it was morning. Amma's mother told her, "Wait until later. The river is wild today." But Amma felt something pulling her. A strange feeling in her chest. Like the river was calling her. She took her cloth, tied her pot, and walked down the wet path. As she reached the riverbank, she saw something unusual. A body was lying near the edge, still, quiet, like someone asleep. Amma froze. Her heart started to beat fast. She looked left. She looked right. No one was around. The body was of a young girl, maybe the same age as Amma. Her skin was pale and shiny, almost glowing. Her hair was long and black, spread like seaweed on the wet ground. Her dress was torn and full of mud. At first, Amma thought the girl was dead. She slowly walked closer. Then, the girl opened her eyes. They were the color of deep water, too deep to see the bottom. The girl didn't speak. She just stared. Her lips were blue, and her hands were cold like river stones. Amma knelt beside her. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. No answer. The girl's eyes looked sad, as if she had cried for many nights. Without thinking much, Amma covered her with her cloth and helped her sit up. The girl was light, too light, as if she was made of air and water. Amma stood up, placed her pot on the ground, and helped the strange girl to her feet. "I will take you home," Amma whispered. The girl still didn't speak. But she let Amma hold her. As they walked back to the village, the trees seemed to quiet down. The birds stopped singing. Even the wind paused. It was as if the whole forest was watching. Something had changed. Amma didn't know it yet, but the girl she carried was not a normal girl. She had brought a spirit into the village. And the river was still watching. Amma brought the strange girl home. Her mother, Mermaid, stood at the doorway, frowning. "Who is this?" she asked. "Where did you find her?" "By the river," Amma said. She was lying on the ground. She was cold and alone. Mermaid looked at the girl carefully. The girl didn't say a word. She only stared at the fire, her wet hair dripping water onto the floor. "We do not bring strangers from the river into our home," Mermaid said in a quiet voice. "This is not normal, Amma." But Amma shook her head. "She is not dangerous. She is just lost." Mermaid said nothing more. She placed a mat near the fire and gave the girl dry cloth to wear. The girl changed her clothes silently, never taking her eyes off Amma. That night, things began to change. First, the fire would not burn well. It cracked and hissed like it was wet. Smoke filled the room, but there was no wind. Then, the family's mirror, an old one hanging on the wall, became cloudy. It fogged up even though the air was dry. When Mermaid tried to wipe it, the glass whispered a word. Just one word. "Water." Amma didn't hear it, but Mermaid did. Her hands began to shake. She turned to the girl. The girl was now sleeping on the mat, her breathing soft and slow. But beneath her, the mat was wet like she had brought the river with her. In the middle of the night, Amma woke up to a sound. It was singing. Soft. Sweet. Beautiful. The voice was not her mother's. It was not anyone from the village. It was a voice that sounded like water flowing over stones, like leaves moving in slow wind, like dreams. Amma stood up and followed the sound. The girl was not on the mat anymore. She was standing at the doorway, looking up at the moon. Her feet were bare. Her skin now shone like silver, and her long black hair flowed down her back like a river. She was singing to the moon. Amma froze. The song was in a language Amma didn't understand, but her heart understood it. It was a sad song. A song of longing. A song that called for something or someone. The girl turned slowly and looked at Amma. Her eyes glowed in the dark. "Do you like my song?" she asked softly. Amma's mouth was dry. She nodded slowly. "Yes. It's beautiful." The girl smiled, but it was a strange smile. A smile that made Amma feel warm and cold at the same time. "I sing for the river," the girl said. "It is lonely. It waits." "Waits for what?" Amma asked. The girl said nothing. She only walked back inside and lay down again. Amma didn't sleep the rest of the night. In the morning, the chickens did not crow. The village dogs barked at the wind. And Mermaid said, "This girl is not a girl." Amma looked at her mother, heart full of worry. "What do you mean?" she asked. Mermaid walked slowly to the window, looking toward the river. "She came from the water," she whispered. "And water spirits do not come without reason." The days passed, and the girl from the river stayed in Amma's house. But nothing felt normal anymore. The air felt heavy, like the clouds were always watching. Goats refused to eat, and the chickens made no sound. Even the village children stopped playing near Amma's compound. They said, "There's something strange in that house." They were right. The girl, who still didn't say her name, spoke very little. She moved quietly, like a shadow, and her skin always felt damp. No matter how hot the sun was, her feet left wet marks on the floor. Sometimes, Amma would wake in the night and hear water dripping. But when she got up, there was nothing, no rain, no leaks. Just the sound, echoing like a soft warning. One evening, while the sun was sinking into the hills and the sky turned gold, Amma sat with the girl under the mango tree. The wind was gentle. The smell of the river carried through the leaves. "Where do you come from?" Amma asked. The girl looked up at the sky, then turned her glowing eyes toward Amma. "I came from deep water," she said. "Where light does not reach." Amma frowned. "Why did you come here?" The girl smiled softly. "To find what belongs to me." Amma felt something cold in her chest. "What belongs to you?" The girl didn't answer right away. She reached into her cloth and pulled out a small, shiny shell comb, golden green, beautiful and strange. She held it up to Amma. "This is for you," she said. Amma took it slowly, her hands shaking. The comb felt warm. "I don't understand," Amma whispered. The girl leaned closer. "Long ago, your bloodline was tied to the water. One of your ancestors made a promise. Now, the river remembers. I was sent to collect what was promised." Amma stared at her, afraid. The girl's voice grew softer. "I need a wife." Amma stood up quickly. "A wife?" "Yes," said the girl. "The river spirit I serve is lonely. He has chosen you. Your song woke him. Your kindness brought me to him. You were marked long before you were born." Amma stepped back. "I didn't make any promise." The girl tilted her head. "But someone did. And the river does not forget." That night, Amma told her mother everything. Mermaid's face turned pale. She sat down hard on the wooden stool and covered her mouth. "Your great-grandmother," she said slowly. "She once took something from the river. A golden necklace. The river warned her to return it, or give something in return. She gave a promise. But the village forgot." Amma's heart dropped. "So now I must pay?" Mermaid began to cry. "I thought it was just a story." Outside, the wind began to howl. The trees bent low. Water dripped from the roof, even though the sky was dry. The river was near. The girl stood in the doorway once more, her hair flowing like water. You must decide, she said calmly. Come willingly, or the river will take what it is owed. Amma looked at her mother. Then she looked at the shell comb in her hand. Her whole world was about to change. The whole night, Amma could not sleep. She lay on her mat, staring at the roof. Her mother was beside her, turning and sighing. The air was hot and heavy. The air smelled like the river, even though the river was far. In her hand, Amma still held the golden shell comb. It glowed softly in the dark. The girl from the river had not spoken again. She sat outside, under the moonlight, singing quietly to herself. Her voice flowed like water. Sweet. Sad. Powerful. Amma closed her eyes, but the song entered her dreams. She saw herself walking into the river, dressed in white, with flowers in her hair. People stood by the riverbank, but no one stopped her. No one spoke. Only the river moved. She woke up sweating. By morning, word had spread. The villagers began to talk. Did you hear? Amma brought something from the river. Her house smells of fish and wet cloth. They say the girl sleeps but never eats. The spirits are watching her. The elders called a meeting. Under the large baobab tree, the oldest man in the village, Barbandu, spoke. There is danger here, he said. We must protect the village. River spirits are not to be played with. Amma and her mother stood at the edge of the crowd. They didn't speak. One woman shouted, "Send the spirit back to the water." Another man said, "We should send Amma too. She brought it here." Amma felt her chest tighten. Her eyes burned with tears. But Barbandu raised his hand. No. The girl is not to blame. This is an old promise, made by blood. If we break it, the river may flood. The land may die. We must follow the old ways. Amma asked, with a shaking voice, "What must I do?" Barbandu looked at her kindly. You must choose. Go with the spirit as a bride. Or offer something greater in return. The river takes balance seriously. Amma went home in silence. The girl from the river waited for her, calm as ever. You have until the next full moon, she said. After that, the river will come for you. Amma sat by the fire that night, watching the flames dance. Her mother stirred the pot, but neither of them felt hungry. Amma whispered, "Mama, what if I don't go?" Mama wiped her eyes. Then the river will come. And it may take more than just you. Amma looked outside. The moon was almost full. Time was running out. She went to her small room and opened a wooden box. Inside were old songs, written by her grandmother. Songs of the river, the wind, the sky. Songs with power. She took the pages and read them one by one. Her fingers trembled. She would not go quietly. She would not let the river decide. She would sing. A song not of fear, but of strength. The next evening, the sky was red like fire. The wind was strange, soft but sharp, like it was cutting through the leaves. Even the animals were quiet. Not a bird flew. Not a dog barked. Amma sat under the mango tree, holding the old papers from her grandmother's box. On them were ancient songs, written in a language few people remembered. Her grandmother had called them songs of protection. One song was different. It had red lines drawn around it. And beside the title were 4 words. Do not sing alone. But Amma had no choice now. The river spirit was waiting. The full moon would rise in 2 days. And the village was afraid. That night, the girl from the river came to Amma's door. Time is almost finished, she said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. Amma stood up. Her heart beat fast. I will not go with you, she said. The girl tilted her head. Then the river will take what it wants. No, Amma said softly. I will sing. The girl's eyes changed. They became deeper, darker, like the bottom of the ocean. You do not know what you are touching, the girl whispered. Those songs are old. Dangerous. Amma held the paper close to her chest. My grandmother knew the river too. She said the voice has power. The spirit smiled slowly. Then sing. Amma walked out into the open yard. The moonlight touched her skin. The stars watched. The wind stopped. She opened her mouth. And she sang. At first, her voice was small. Then it grew. The words were strange, but they felt right on her tongue. The song moved through the air like smoke, soft, strong, and rising. The ground trembled. The trees bent low. The house behind her creaked. The river heard. And then, the spirit screamed. The girl from the river fell to her knees. Her skin began to glow. Her legs turned dark, smooth, like a fish tail. Her hair lifted as if underwater. The spirit's true form was showing. She was not just a girl. She was a messenger of Mummy Water, the water goddess. You call the old names, the spirit cried. You open old doors. Amma did not stop singing. Her voice became louder, stronger. It was not only her voice now, it was the voice of her grandmother, of all the women who came before her. The song held fire and water, pain and love. The earth cracked. The river rose. Water flowed into the village like a snake, fast and cold. But the song pushed it back. The spirit screamed again, now in fear. Her body lifted from the ground, spinning in the air, wrapped in light and wind. You could have ruled the river, she cried. But you chose war. Amma took one more step forward. I choose freedom, she said. With one final note, the spirit vanished, pulled back into the night sky, into the wind, into the deep. The water returned to the river. The silence broke. The dogs barked. The trees stood still. Amma fell to her knees, breathing hard. Her mother ran to her and held her close. You did it, Mama F whispered. Amma looked at the moon. It's not over, she said softly. But the river knows me now. And I know it. The river was quiet again. The spirit was gone. But the village would never be the same. For many days, the people spoke in whispers. They kept their doors closed at night and avoided the river, even in the daytime. Some said they saw shadows moving in the water, though nothing was there. Others said they heard a soft song whenever the wind blew through the trees. But everyone knew one thing: Amma was not just a girl anymore. She had stood against a water spirit. And she had lived. Many elders came to her house. They bowed their heads. They gave her gifts, yams, beads, goats, and they asked for her forgiveness. We didn't believe you, Barbandu said. But you saved us all. Amma nodded politely, but she did not feel like a hero. She still felt the river in her bones. She still heard that sad song in her dreams. One morning, while sweeping the compound, Amma found something strange near the mango tree. It was a small, smooth stone, round and shining like silver. It pulsed gently in her hand, like a heartbeat. Around the stone was a ribbon made of river grass, dry, but still green. She called her mother. Mama, look, Amma said. Mama F touched the stone, then quickly pulled her hand away. It's not from this world. It feels alive, Amma whispered. That night, Amma sat alone, holding the stone. The moon was half full. The air was still. Suddenly, she heard a voice, not with her ears, but inside her mind. The promise is not broken. Only delayed. Amma stood up quickly. The stone was glowing brighter now. She heard the voice again. I left you a gift, and a warning. Amma's heart raced. She looked around. No one was there. The next day, Amma went to visit the river. The water was calm. Birds flew across the sky. She stepped close to the edge and looked at her reflection. But the face in the water was not hers. It was the spirit's. Just for a moment, then it vanished. Amma took a deep breath. What do you want from me? There was no answer. Only the sound of flowing water. As she turned to walk away, she saw something new. A small tree had started growing at the riverbank. Its leaves were silver green, and they sparkled in the sun. Around its base were little stones like the one Amma found. It had not been there before. Amma knelt beside the tree and touched its trunk. Warm, strong, alive. She understood then, the spirit had left part of herself behind. Not to harm, but to remember. A sign of connection. Not love. Not hate. Something older. A bond. When Amma stood up, she no longer felt afraid. She walked back to the village, stone in hand, heart steady. She would keep the stone. She would care for the tree. She would sing not for the river, not for the spirits, but for herself. And the river would listen. Always. The rain came. The sun burned. Crops grew, and the village slowly returned to normal. But Amma was not the same. She walked with quiet strength. When she passed, people stopped to greet her with respect. Children looked at her with wide eyes, and elders spoke her name with care. But Amma still spent time alone. Every week, she visited the silver-green tree by the river. It had grown taller. Its leaves shimmered in the light, and small white flowers had started to bloom. The stones at its base were smooth and warm. Amma called it the memory tree. She always carried the glowing spirit stone with her, tied in a cloth on her waist. One evening, as the sky turned golden, Barbandu came to her home. "You have walked through things we do not understand," he said. "You have become something more." Amma looked down. "I don't feel different. I still wake with fear sometimes. I still hear the river's voice." Barbandu nodded. "The river touched you. It never forgets the ones who cross into its world." Amma asked, "Will it come back for me?" The old man looked at her kindly. "Maybe. Or maybe it waits to see what you become." That night, Amma sat near the tree. The wind was soft. Crickets sang. The river moved gently, as if it breathed. She took out the stone and held it in her palm. "I didn't choose the river," she whispered. "But now it is part of me." Suddenly, the stone pulsed once, like a heartbeat. Amma stood. She began to sing. But this time, it was not the old song. It was her own. A song of new beginnings. A song that told of her fear, her courage, her choice. The tree's leaves shook. The river rippled. And then, something strange happened. From the water, a soft light rose. Not a person. Not a spirit. Just light, shaped like a woman, dancing above the water. It did not speak. It only listened. Amma kept singing. When her voice faded, the light slowly bowed and returned to the deep. Amma knew what it meant. The river had accepted her. Not as a bride. Not as a servant. But as a guardian. From that day, the village began to change. The river gave more fish. The rains came gently. Children were born healthy. People came from other villages to speak with Amma. They asked for songs, for blessings, for dreams. Amma became the river woman, not feared, but loved. But she never forgot the spirit girl. And she never forgot the warning. The promise is not broken. Only delayed. So she watched. She listened. She sang. And on quiet nights, when the moon was high and the wind was still, she could hear it far beneath the water, a soft hum. Waiting. Moral of the story: every choice has a price. Every kindness leaves a mark. And the river, like memory, never forgets.